Thank you very much, Minister, and there is no doubting your very hard work ethic, so thank you for taking this. Minister, last July, in early July, the Joint Oireachtas Committee on International Surrogacy brought out a report that was extremely well received by the three government ministers to whom it was relevant, that being the Minister for Health, who's the lead minister on this, the Minister for Justice and the Minister for Children. They made recommendations that can be broadly put into two categories. The first is the ethical future of international surrogacy and the need for legislation in the state, and a framework was suggested around that. And the second was a retrospective provision when it comes to the children that have been born via surrogacy, or for those who are on the way at the moment via surrogacy, to ensure that there is a legal relationship between those children and both of their parents. Surrogacy has a long history of various entities telling the state that we need to take action on it, from as long ago as the Taoiseach being Minister for Health in 2005, where the Commission on Assisted Human Reproduction recommended that we legislate for surrogacy. There have been numerous court decisions, including the Supreme Court, saying that the state needs to legislate in this area. In 2012, Minister Alan Shatter, when he was Minister for Justice, brought out guidelines for international surrogacy because of particularly the citizenship element of it. In 2017, we had the Assisted Human Reproduction Bill go to pre-legislative scrutiny, and out of that a recommendation was made to legislate for international surrogacy. We had the Conor O'Mahony report on the child protection implications of international surrogacy in 2021, and then the commencement of the Joint Oireachtas Committee, and the committee worked to a very tight timeline because they were conscious that the Assisted Human Reproduction Bill had commenced in the Dáil and is now at awaiting committee stage to commence in the Department of Health. So it is live before the committee. The fact is that there are many children living, there are well over 1,000, if not more than that, well more than that, of children who do not have a legal relationship with both of their parents, be that a second father, or in the main, these are women that don't have a legal relationship with their own child. That leaves them in a precarious position that if the father of the child, who is the biological father and needs to be, becomes very seriously ill, and is maybe facing death, then the child will be left with no legal parent in the state. There are currently cases before the court seeking clarification, and bizarrely, the state is defending those cases and paying legal bills for discovery at a time when there are numerous reports saying we need to legislate for surrogacy. There are situations of marriage breakdown, and in the last couple of weeks in particular, I have had sight of solicitors' letters from the father of the children to the mother of the children, reminding them that they have no legal standing, that if they relinquish the claim on their family home, that they may be given access to their children. So the children are weaponised because of the state's failure to legislate for surrogacy and for children born via surrogacy. We need equality for children. These children, regardless of the means of their conception and birth, they should have an equality and a right to the legal relationship of both parents before the state. We were led to believe that amendments were to be brought in at committee stage of the health bill that would address this. I appreciate that it is both the Department of Health and the Department of Justice that need to act on this, but we need action, and we need to know that the programme is going to come in, and that before Christmas we could be looking at the legislation having been passed by both houses of the Oireachtas. Thank you.
Thank you. Minister.
I wanted to begin by thanking the Senator, Senator Kearney, on behalf of Minister Donnelly, the opportunity to inform the House of the progress made to date in respect of introducing the regulation of international surrogacy. And I just want to acknowledge and thank you for all the work that you have been doing in relation to surrogacy. The undertaking of surrogacy arrangements in other jurisdictions raises complex ethical questions concerning areas of law that intersect across the remits of several government departments, like you've said, the Department of Justice and the Department of Children, Equality, Disability, Integration and Youth, as well as the Department of Health. Accordingly, and on foot of government approval of proposals from Minister McEntee, Minister O'Gorman and Minister Donnelly, the Special Oireachtas Joint Committee on International Surrogacy was established on the 9th of February, of which I know you're a very strong member. As the Senator pointed out, the committee published its first report on the 6th of July, which included a total of 32 recommendations. On behalf of the Ministers and Government, I reiterate their gratitude for the work of the committee and the completion of its report in such a timely manner. Following the publication of the Special Oireachtas Joint Committee on International Surrogacy's report, through a structured and collaborative engagement process, the Department of Justice, the Department of Children and the Department of Health are reviewing the report's recommendations, along with other relevant matters, with a view to determining an appropriate policy position and suitable next steps. It is crucial that the relevant departments complete a robust and thorough examination of all the issues, including the findings and recommendations of the Committee's report, giving the range of complexities involved and the rights of the various parties involved in surrogacy arrangements. It is also important to recognise that there is no international consensus or multilateral instrument on this issue at the moment, notwithstanding that the expert group appointed by the Permanent Bureau of the Hague Conference on Private International Law is due to report in 2023, following the conclusion of its own ongoing formal study of the private international law issues being encountered. There are also highly divergent views within the EU on this issue, with a number of member states prohibiting all forms of surrogacy. Nevertheless, the ministers and departments are committed to progressing as quickly as possible the development of policy proposals, along with any required legislative proposals, while respecting the key principles of protecting the rights of all children born as a result of cross-border surrogacy arrangements and safeguarding the welfare of surrogate mothers. And I think that sums it up, the importance of the key principles of protecting the rights of all children born as a result of cross-border surrogacy arrangements and also safeguarding the welfare of surrogate mothers. This detailed consideration is ongoing and the Department are meeting frequently to actively work through the pertinent issues with the aim of producing an agreed policy paper shortly.
To say that I am not impressed by that response is mild, to be perfectly honest, and with due respect to yourself, you're merely the messenger, so I'm not going to. But with a view to developing a policy paper is a wholly inadequate response, absolutely unacceptable response. There are children in this state who have the right to the two parents, the mother that they have only ever known, and to their second father in cases of opposite sex or same-sex couples. You know, this last weekend, I had to fill in a form for my daughter that described me as her guardian. She hasn't known any other mother. I'm the only mother. She wouldn't be conceived if it wasn't for me. She wouldn't be alive if it wasn't for me. Unfortunately, I couldn't give birth to her. But the idea that I am her guardian, a situation that will expire when she's 18 and bring with it a whole heap of other difficulties with regard to us, our next of kin, our relationship for all of the rest of our lives, is absolutely and utterly, wholly unacceptable. That at this stage, after all the work that's in, that all they're doing is developing a policy position. That will go down incredibly badly with the surrogacy community across the country, which are related to thousands of people who have all come out and expressed their views and their disenchantment with the government and its absolute abdication of its responsibility to the citizens of this state. It is absolutely appalling that we aren't in a place where actual amendments to that bill aren't being drafted, that they're still talking about it.
Thank you, Senator. And I just want to say thank you for sharing your own personal experience, and I can understand your upset and your frustration. But it has to be borne in mind that policy and legislative proposals that may arise following the completion of the Department's examination of the Committee's recommendation will require consideration and approval by Government. Overall, and you will be aware, there are significant challenges to be addressed in respect of policy and legislation, but also in the context of operational matters, including the role of regulators, the courts and all parties involved in international surrogacy arrangements. It is complicated by the fact that there is an acknowledged absence of any international framework and subsequent challenges associated with overseeing practices and services in other jurisdictions, including having assurances that surrogacy arrangements are of the highest ethical standards and prioritising those who may be most vulnerable to exploitation in international surrogacy. The limitations that arise in this regard are also acknowledged by the Committee in the report. However, there is a clear commitment to developing policy and legislative responses to the numerous complexities and difficulties which arise, so as to achieve a robust and ethical framework for future international surrogacy arrangements and providing certainty for all those concerned. But I will feed back your disappointment. You feel it's an unacceptable response, and I will feed that back to the Minister. Thank you.
By the Department of Health. In actual fact, the fact is every common law jurisdiction that influences our jurisdiction in courts have already legislated for surrogacy. So it is absolutely untrue what the position that's been put forward by the Department of Health.
Thank you, Senator. Thank you, Minister. Gentlemen, Senator.